What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. In this one, I'm going to be continuing to try to make Garten of BanBan 0 in Minecraft. This is part 5, and in this one we're doing the Cyan path entirely and start getting the red one laid out. Also, sorry, members, I lied. I'm not not uploading two back-to-back. I do say that at a couple points in this video that I was recording two back-to-back. That's a lie. That isn't happening, unfortunately. I don't have time. But, yeah. Anyway, that's really all that's important. I know that's particularly random. Oh, I left my oak signs. That's fine. Ignore those. Those are just my numbers, so I know how long each wall is. And anyway, with that being said, enjoy the tutorial, and I will catch you on the flip side. Alrighty, so in the previous episode, or part, you should have finished this room. I always have to differentiate the two. We're going to start with the Cyan concrete pathway because I just feel like it makes sense, this one right here, which is, you know, the first one you go to in the game. And so if you head through here, you want to start by getting out the following materials. Cyan concrete, wow, who would have guessed? Smooth quartz blocks. White concrete. Smooth quartz slabs. Black concrete. Sea lanterns. Why did I... Okay, whatever. We're gonna ignore that fact. Dark oak trapdoors for some reason. You'll see why I say that. Light blue concrete. And... we'll go nether brick fence, I think. Yeah, so we have a lot of rooms to make yet again. We're gonna start by taking the cyan concrete, like the bottom row here, from the tunnel itself. And what you can actually do is you can break this bottom row of 3 and replace it with white concrete. In addition, you can do another, or take another one forward with the middle and make it also a white concrete. Instead of counting out the floor, because that's a lot of work and it goes a lot further than we technically need, and it's also subjective to that point, you want to start on the left and right with these, like, first cyan concretes and extend them back with 4 smooth quartz blocks. You'll then leave a gap of 3, which I'm going to use sea lanterns for the gaps just for now. And then you'll place from there 7, alright, 7? Yeah, 7 smooth quartz blocks. Had a moment of second guessing. Then a gap of 3. Then 7 smooth quartz blocks. Then a gap of 3. And then you'll end with 4 smooth quartz blocks. And I'll break the sea lanterns, which were my placeholders. There'll be doors here later, we just don't have the materials to make them yet. From this point, you can bring each smooth quartz block up by 3. In addition, you can connect the very top smooth quartz together over the 3 block openings, which doesn't include the, like, across the hallway. You're just going over the respective walls. Hopefully everyone is having a good day or night. I am for the most part. Always fantastic to record a lovely long game tutorial. Although it is, like, nicer for me because I don't have to worry about recording 2 hours of this, right? I just have to record 40 minutes and I could in theory be done, although I'm probably recording 2 parts again. It depends on a lot of things, frankly, but yeah, you should have this. At the end of this, you want to take these smooth quartz walls and extend them out with 2 rows each, just at the far back row. You will then take the outermost rows from there and extend them back with a row of smooth quartz that ends up being 2 blocks taller as well. So it's in total should be a row of 6, like so, or I guess 2 rows of 6. You'll connect them together at that top block, which should be, I think, 7 between, right? 4, 5, 6, 7, yeah. And essentially down diagonally back, you want to place a row of cyan concrete, just mimicking that top row of smooth quartz, like so. You'll extend it down on the left and right by 4. And then place an additional cyan concrete in each top corner, and it'll give you this. It's kind of weird to see, but it's another, like, circular shape. You essentially want to bring this as far back as you want. Now, before I actually do that, I'm going to bring the white concrete floor through here. so I can simultaneously bring the white concrete back along with the cyan concrete. I only particularly care about this because I just think it's nice. Don't fill under the doorways, by the way. I'll explain that later, but you should fill, like, in this little crevice here. I don't know why it's there, but it's there. And, yeah, again, go as far as you want. I went fairly far in the original, like, maybe to there about. I don't know. I'm not going to give you a specific number, just whatever you feel like works. A lot of the void pathways I'll do that with. Doesn't really matter. It's like, if you really want to spend your time going 100 blocks back, then go for it. You could go further than the render distance. Like, it's up to you. Further for render distance for me, though, would be, like, a lot of blocks. I think my render distance goes up to, like, 80 chunks, so... yeah, it'd be pretty far. Like, this would run into... Would it run into anything else? I don't think there's anything that way, actually. I don't think there's anything at 5,000, but there might be. Anyway, you should have this. You can just block off the end here with black concrete. As well. If I didn't say, I don't think I said that. And yeah. I'd also maybe recommend barricading it off with barriers at the front row of cyan concrete, because you can't walk through barriers and you also can't see them, so, you know. It gives you the double whammy. I want to start with the middle room of the three, which is this one. On the right side specifically, there are no rooms accessible on the left. There's two on the right, funnily enough, and one of them I didn't actually do properly. Well, I'll explain that. So you want to take, on, like, between each doorway, you should have 7 blocks, and you want to just take the middle of each 7 and extend it over with, hold on, I love math, 16 smooth quartz blocks. You should be able to connect together at this, like, endmost row, and also kind of just rectangle this off and create 3 separate rooms with it. And it'll give you something like this. You want to just go to the very end smooth quartz, essentially the, like, front and back rows of this particular area, and you should have this. It should be 3 rooms of the same size. You want the floor in each of them to be light blue concrete entirely. I will slash fill this. Do I wanna? Yeah, I can. If you want, by the way, you can structure block the, like, room from over there, one of the rooms, or even all 3, and just change what you need to, because the interior decoration does change. But yeah, the thing that I forgot isn't big. I'll point it out, because I think I could tell you which room it is, but I don't remember, and I was gonna add it, and I just never did, so, yeah. You can get rid of your cyan concrete and get out black stained glass panes, and essentially what you want to do is, well, the right wall is in the back wall of each is just going to be 3 additional rows of smooth quartz, again, creating 4 in total. And yeah, that's easy enough. Basically, I guess the perimeter walls will be 4. So the 2 walls that, I guess, rooms share, you're going to leave open for now, but just fill in the other 3, which is, again, the right, front, and back, pretty much. So you should be left with what kind of looks like a giant bookshelf, if they removed the shelves. I guess it defeats the purpose of a bookshelf. Anyway, on these rows of smooth quartz, you're going to place 4, well, smooth quartz on the left and right blocks. Essentially just moving in, I guess. And then the middle, what should be 7, are black stained glass pins. If you don't end up getting 7 for that, just push the wall over. If you have a number like that in a point of this to where it's like it doesn't line up, as long as it's like a singular room, you should be able to just push the wall, because I'm gonna bet my money that would be where a mistake happens. You can copy each row one more time. When I count numbers, I don't include the first number. So if I say go left by 16, the total row would be 17, essentially. Like, let's say I'm like this, right? I have this row, and I'm gonna say go that way 16. It'll be 17 in total, because this corner would add to that. Place a row of smooth quartz on top. If that makes you more confused, just ignore it, because it's not particularly a huge deal either way. Nice. From this point, each of them have the same ceiling. Now, before we do anything else, though, the middle room, we have one adjustment I want to make. If you are just chilling in here where you have the window on either side, you want to just head straight back from the doorway into the, like, kind of back right-hand corner. If you're on this smooth quartz, you'll count left by 1 and you'll break this smooth quartz along with the 2 above. Place a light blue concrete as the floor, and you'll essentially fill this back in with smooth quartz, but it's going to be, like, pushed into the wall by a block, so you kind of have a divot, essentially. Off the smooth quartz to the left of this, you'll place dark oak trapdoors that are open up against the right half of that block, and it'll kind of look like a door. It's not the greatest door, but yeah. This one is a 1x3. I do go with 1x2 again later for a closet, which was one that wasn't in the map tour, which is fantastic. But yeah. In each room, you want to do the same thing for the lighting here. You want to take, well, I guess, okay, well, I'll start by filling in the ceiling with upside down smooth quartz slabs. I'm only going to do the middle room now, and you'll see why. It will make sense. Just, you have to bear with me. And it may also be advised to break, like, a hole in each window so you can kind of traverse through the rooms easier. But that is kind of up to you. Anywhere really works in your wall. So we're going to mark the lights in specifically this room, and then when we do the other ones, we can kind of just line them up. At the very back center smooth quartz slab, you'll count forward by a block, break it, and replace it with a nether brick fence. At the right wall, if you take the middle of the window and count from this angle to the right by 1, to this one, and then if you kind of count up to the ceiling and over by 2, you'll break this slab and replace it with a nether brick fence. Essentially, it's just 1 off the center and 2 off the wall. Now I'd advise filling in your other 2 ceilings with upside down smooth quartz slabs. Just make sure you get the fences in the same spot. So I'm just going to go 2 off the wall here on both and place the fence. And then I'll just go 1 off the middle and place these fences as well. Just might as well start with them. I don't know what I just did, but something like... It's got like a random tooth pin. And when I said a word, that was weird. Also, probably not normal. Like, that hurt more than it should have. It wasn't like a little bit of a pain. It was like a ow. What did I just do? Also, when you do this anyway, you're gonna place a smooth quartz slab on top of each nether brick fence, just so you can or just to cover them up from the underside. You can barely see it from above anyway, so it's not like it's a huge deal. I mean, you can. Oh, which one was it? Was it? Oh, it was this one. How? You know what? I don't want to know. Oh, because I placed off the fence. Okay, that makes minimal sense. There's like an essence of sense in there, maybe, but not much. It's weird how an essence, like the sense part of it, is spelled with a C, but in the actual sense word, it's spelled with a S. I'm talking about the second S in sense. I don't know. Just random shower thought of the day, I guess. I did it. Okay, that's definitely not the one I would have like expected that one, but whatever, honestly. You should have this. Before we actually do the interiors for these rooms, I want to get the rest of the like ceiling in. So, here's a fun part. You want to essentially on this side, you want to how do I explain this? Take the cyan concrete at the front and you can get rid of I guess white concrete just because and get out cyan as I mentioned. And so what you want to do is just kind of square off these corners. So if you take the outermost cyan, you'll extend it up by 2 and then just in by 1 to connect. And on the side where we have the rooms, you'll take the smooth quartz and essentially just bring it across and make sure you stay 1 block outside of the wall at all times. And yeah, you'll just have 2 rows of smooth quartz up like this. And I'll notice everything is the same height. Cool. You can copy the kind of length on that side on this side. So I'm actually going to count the smooth quartz. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 16. And then from the 16th, I'll go back and then I'll connect to the right. And yeah, I'll just fill in the top of these with just regular smooth quartz because frankly, it doesn't matter either way. You're not going to see it and it's not going to make a difference because the rooms aren't actually made. If you really wanted, you could copy the smooth quartz slab pattern, but I just don't think it's worth the time, and I am just going to slash fill this as well. But I'll give you a second to catch up as I read a YouTube comment notification, but don't quite respond to it yet because I'm still recording. So yeah, it should end up looking like this. Okay. A block above the top of this, you'll also fill in the ceiling with smooth quartz blocks. It's a lot of smooth quartz, I'm not gonna lie, but, you know, and don't lock yourself out like I'm about to. And again, I'll give you a moment to do that. But I'd recommend pausing, obviously, because you're not gonna do it in 15 seconds unless you're slash filling like I am. Cool. The middle of each doorway, between them, I guess, you're gonna essentially, on this like center white concrete, if you look up to the ceiling and break this smooth quartz, you replace it with a sea lantern with a dark oak trapdoor underneath. I don't know if there's a reason I made this different, or if I just did it differently because I forgot that glow item frames existed. But, you know, I'm gonna assume that I did it for a reason, so, you know, there is that fact. But I feel like I don't know. With me, you do never know. Anyway, we can, carry on from that interesting fact. You can clear your inventory, and for the rooms in here you want to get out, lanterns, pale oak planks, mud, spruce planks, warped, basically all of the warps, so there'll be stairs, slabs, I'd say planks, but there's no point, and trapdoors are really the three. And also fence gates, actually. In addition, you can get out cyan carpet. Yeah, that works, I think. That'll get us about as far as we can reasonably get. So, underneath each nether brick fence here in these rooms, you're going to start by placing a lantern off of them. We're going to just kind of do what we can at the same time in each of the rooms, and then, you know, we'll have to differentiate. Specifically for the middle one, because the middle one doesn't really have any furniture at all. It's kind of weird. In the back two rooms, you want to take the... If you look to the left, you're going to have a window in one of them, but not in the other. That's fine. You want to essentially be 2 blocks off the, like, wall here. You have 2 blocks of light blue in the corner, and then you'll break the next 4 and replace them with mud, and I'll do the same in this room. I was going to use the window originally to mark, but I think it makes more sense to not because it doesn't exist. On the middle two, you'll just place warp fence gates kind of that are connected into the wall almost. And then if you just slide yourself in the middle, you can open them each away from you, and it'll give you table legs to some extent. Place cyan carpet on each warp fence gate. Oh, right, I forgot they don't have collision when you open them, so I can just, like, run through this. I don't have to worry because this carpet sticks up, like, just enough. Although I guess it doesn't block me. Okay, well, that's... Get rid of your mud and get out gray concrete. Quick change here. The mud here in the back room is actually gray concrete for some reason. Okay, I didn't want to do all that now, but sure, I guess. I do apologize. It looked like mud in my defense. In the very corner here, like this kind of... I guess it'd be the back left-hand corner from the doorway, but it's back right from the, like, hallway entrance. You'll place an upside-down warp stair facing into the corner with another one kind of moving across the room from it like so. Have a plank on top of either, and then a set of stairs left of the upside-down stairs. Left of those, you'll place trapdoors, slabs, trapdoors. And I'd have under each trapdoor a warp plank in place of the light blue concrete, but that is optional. I just think it makes it look a little bit more cohesive. It's a really weird word to use in that context, but it still works, I think. We're going to pretend like the doorways are on the left just for this entire thing, because I think it makes more sense that way, and I'm trying not to confuse you too much. If you take the warp slabs here from what we just made, you're going to count towards you by 3 and place 3 spruce planks in the floor moving forward from that. Extend each of them also to the left by 3, which should give you a 4 by 3. You'll take the rightmost spruce plank and count to the right by 1, and on top of this block, you'll place 2 warp trapdoors open up against the left half of that block. You'll have to crouch place them. At least crouch place the second one. Off the bottom trapdoor, you'll place a trapdoor to the left on the top half of that block. Off the left of that, you'll place I'm not even gonna ask questions. You're gonna place another warp trap door and you're gonna... Okay, I'm sorry. And then you're gonna open it up against it, so it gives you a chair. That was a thrilling circumstance of events. Okay. You're gonna count left by 1. And I'm gonna place a placeholder block here. I'll use gray concrete. And I'll open a warp trap door up against the front and back of it. I'll then break that gray concrete and replace it with a warp trap door on the top half of that block. Yeah, I'm still a little bit perplexed by whatever just happened. That is this room done, actually. I can get rid of the lanterns here, and I'm just gonna seal off this window. Although you can also go through the doors like a normal person, but that's too much work for me. In this room, we can do approximately one thing. You'll take the back right-hand corner and count 4 diagonally left by 1 and place a warp plank. We'll come back to that later. Now we can head forward again. In this particular room, you want to... From the back left-hand corner, count right by 1, and going to the right, you'll break 6 light blue concrete and replace them with pale oak planks. And extend forward an additional 2 rows from each plank. On the very center 2, well, okay, we don't have the materials for that. Get rid of your warp fence gates and cyan carpet and get out mangrove fence gates and red carpet. And you can actually, in addition... get rid of your 3 other warp things, and you can get out the mangrove variants, except for the mangrove trapdoors you don't need. You just need the mangrove stairs and mangrove slabs. In place of the mangrove trapdoors, get out pale oak pressure plates. We're just going to finish this room right now. On the middle 2 pale oak planks here, you'll place a couple of mangrove fence gates again. They kind of like are looking towards each other, but you'll stand in between them and you'll open them away from each other because they're not friends or something. I don't know. I didn't ask them personally. You'll crouch place red carpet on top of the mangrove fence gates, unless you're cool like me and want to place the carpet off the eddy carpet. But then you'd have to place a... Okay, it's complicated either way. From the front right-hand corner of the pale oak here, you'll count 4 diagonally right by 2 and break 4 light blue to the right and replace them all with pale oak. Break 2 rows forward from that and also fill that with pale oak to give you a 4 by 3. You want the same warped bed we made in the back room in this room too, except out of mangrove. If you take the front right-hand corner, you'll place, or back right-hand corner, excuse me, you'll place 2 upside down stairs facing right, moving forward. Have a plank on top of either, and have a stair left of either. Going left of the stairs, you'll place red carpet, mangrove slabs, red carpet, and then in front of the front one you will place a pale oak pressure plate. Or back one, I mean. Sorry, I'm thinking about the next thing. So, I don't remember. It's either this room or I think it's the blue one, actually, because if I remember correctly, it's where the tables and the... Oh, yeah, no, it would be this one. This back room. I believe in this corner right here, there's a potted plant. If I remember correctly, because I remember seeing it later in the game and I was like, yeah, I'll add it later, and then I just never did. But it's there in, I want to say it's this room. You could add it in, well, no, because I say it wouldn't be in the other one, because you could add them in the corners where you can't see to the window. I'll say that much, because, you know, that is a thing in theory. But yeah, these 2 rooms are both done. You just have the middle room left, unless of course there's, you know, you want to add some potted plants in the invisible corners, because yeah, you can clear your inventory. And the first thing I want to do is get the warp sign going. So if you head into the main room again, this is if you're on PC only, you want to find the guy with the white eyes, this guy, and you can just control block pick, and you should have a sign with data, and you can just slap it on the front of that warp plank in here, or facing kind of towards the door. The space between the 2 capital O's is 10 spaces if you do need that information, because if you're on console or something. I do realize not everybody can do the sick techniques, but yeah. Get out the following blocks for this, what should finish this room, I think. Blackstone slabs, jungle trap door, never catch me using those ever again. Dark oak fence gates, green terracotta, pale oak buttons, mangrove buttons, birch signs, and we're gonna go prismarine walls. We don't really, I don't see it necessary to get out the things for the other doors, because we're just gonna need to half switch anyway at that point. So we're gonna start with the little thing in the closet. They gave this poor guy a guitar, even though he has no hands. On the bottom smooth quartz block, you'll place a jungle trap door open up against it. Above it, you'll place 2 dark oak fence gates open like so. The fence gates makes really good guitar strings. Not necessarily in this situation. I didn't have any better technique, though. But, you know, they have for the security breach statues, so. 2 rows off of the left wall, which means you leave 2. You want to, on this 3rd row, break the entire thing and replace it with green terracotta. Break 3 more rows to the right and just, you know, make sure it's all green terracotta. This will be visible from the top, by the way. You know, I'll actually show you what I mean from the outside here. You can see that green terracotta, but, like, unless you're flying up here for some reason, you'll never notice it, so. The furthest right row of green terracotta, do ignore the top row because you can't place off it. Anyway, you'll just place birch signs here. Do whatever combination of pale oak and mangrove buttons you want for this. Just make sure you have 2 pale oak and 1 mangrove on each. That is how this one works, right? Yeah, it is. So my setup was on the top row, it's mangrove button on the left with 2 pale oak to the right. And then the bottom 2 just each have the mangrove button in the middle. I didn't want to do like too much of a pattern, so that was kind of my most pattern breaking. It's hard to not make a pattern in a 3x3. Although I will say, if this is tic-tac-toe, white is winning here. Although it's definitely not. You want to take the right wall here, and if you're in line with the middle row of the window, you'll place a black stone block. We're just going to use slabs for this entirely because the texture is different on blocks and slabs. Behind this block and left of it both, you'll place a couple of slabs. In front of that block, you'll place a block with a slab on top, and then in front of that block, you'll place another slab. The doorway for this room, you'll have prismarine walls at the left and right. Clear your inventory and get out the following. Prismarine, prismarine stairs, black concrete, and prismarine bricks. In each of the other 5 doorways, you're going to place a prismarine block in each of the 4 corners, which will give you a plus shape left in the middle. I'm going to do them all at once because I'm just like that, I guess. Not that that's particularly more efficient, but, you know. Between the 2 prismarines that are, like, vertically, so essentially it'll be the 2 on the left and the 2 on the right, you'll place an upside down prismarine stair between them that'll face essentially towards the opening in the doorway. On specifically the left ones, you'll actually place a black concrete off the kind of back of these prismarine stairs. And then through the middle of each row, you'll place prismarine bricks. You only want the black concrete on the left because there are rooms on the right that you can actually see into, so yeah. Boom, that's this pathway done, and that was 27 minutes. Insane. We can start the red one. I don't really think we'll get far, but just to kind of get somewhere at least with it. You want to start off by getting out the following. Chiseled tough bricks, white concrete, blackstone stairs, ladders, sea lanterns, glow item frames, dark oak signs, and I really don't feel like there's anything else that would make sense at this point, to be honest. So yeah, we're just gonna go with that, I think. Actually, red concrete, that's kind of important. Because I don't know, we might not need it, actually. We might already, yeah, we might not need it, but it'll be nice to have just as a safeguard anyway. So we're going to start by marking out, like, the entirety of this section for the walls, pretty much. If you start just kind of from this red concrete going out, you'll start on the right side and be just kind of outside of this red diagonal by 1. You'll be right there with your white concrete, essentially, below this row of 3 and also out a block. And you'll extend this white concrete backwards, or just, you know, towards the open sky by 24. You'll then place a blackstone, 3 white concrete, black stone, white concrete, then extend to the right by 1, then with a black stone, 4 white concrete, black stone, 23 white concrete, and then you're gonna go forward, or I guess towards the cyan concrete pathway, with 27 white concrete. Then right by 17. And then going back from this, but also down a block, you're going to place 4 chiseled tough bricks, just so we can kind of symbolize that this is the end. And then you'll have a white concrete up diagonally back from that. Extended left by 12. And just confirm you're 4 blocks away from this little row of white concrete just to your left, which is correct. You'll then go back with what should be 6. Yeah. Then right by 12. And you can actually get rid of your red concrete and get out diorite, and place a diorite to the right of that. Extended back by 3. Then place behind that 4 chiseled tough bricks in the floor. Then back up, you'll place 3 diorite. Actually, we'll go 4 diorite just because. And then you'll go left with 4 white concrete. Then from there, you can go back with 15. Then left by 4. Then back by 7. Then right by 3. Back 4. Place a black stone. 7 white concrete. Black stone. 4 white concrete. And then you'll go left from that in the floor with 11 chiseled tough bricks. Just gonna stop for a second so you can kind of see the trajectory of this line, and make sure you have all of your directions right, because I realized that was kind of weird, although it is all based off of the same way, just because I've been turning a lot. I know it's weird. Just confirm, at least if your numbers aren't wrong, you'll see in a second that they'd be, or where they would be, how they would be wrong, rather. But everything should be good. Just make sure that your line is at least correct, like direction-wise. Left of this chiseled tough brick row anyway, back up, you'll place a white concrete. Extend it forward by 3. Place a black stone. 7 white concrete. Black stone. 5 white concrete. Go right by 3. Forward by 7. Then left by 1. Then forward diagonally left by 3. Forward 1. And from this point, you can actually confirm that you're just in line with this corner white concrete right here. And if you check, you have 5 blocks between you and this corner. And that should be correct. From here, you kind of want to just make sure that you follow the trajectory of the hallway, making sure you stay 5 blocks away from it, and also include the black stones directly across. I won't give you numbers here, but essentially you see I'm going to bring the white concrete all the way over until I see this black stone, where I'll go boop, black stone, 4 concrete, black stone, and then once I'm in line with this, I'll place 6 more white concrete, and I should be able to turn forward here, and I'll actually check at the black stone to make sure that this is still 5. And you'll also notice when you line up at the end if you're wrong, because you should connect kind of in the same position that you started, just on the opposite side, obviously. That is most of this section. It's not, it doesn't quite get to the bitter giggle room, and also doesn't get the like, big door room, whatever that room is called. I don't think it has an official name. My official name for it is the big door room, though. You can fill in the floor below this in with chiseled tough bricks, just kind of, you know, a level below it, which is also in line with the bottom red concrete, and, you know. And yeah. This pathway shouldn't be too bad either. It has a lot more rooms, and this will probably be, like, the last major thing, other than the cave. But as mentioned, cave is just dimensions, so... yeah. Overall, feeling good about it. I'm gonna be honest, my cave doesn't even look that good, so I wouldn't worry about making it look right. And my method about going through it was horrible. It ended up working in the long run, but I'll tell you how I did it versus how you probably should do it, because, you know, the way that I did it was horrendous, but it was also the, like, easy way out, so... that's why I did it the way that I did it, because I wasn't going to spend 50 minutes, or, like, I guess I did probably spend 50 minutes, it was a good while, but I wasn't going to spend 2 hours, making a cave from entirely scratch. I did at least want some base walls. Yeah. Can't wait. I don't know what I can't wait for. It'd be nice to have this done, though. Like, because this is not a long tutorial. You guys will see fairly quickly. I mean, it's obviously it's still considered one of the major video game tutorials, but it's no, like... it's no Poppy Playtime. I feel like Poppy Playtime Chapter 1 is larger than this. It had... well... it's hard, because it had... probably will end up having less parts. But also, like, the parts were longer. Like, there was a 2-hour part in that. And these parts, I don't even think I've scraped 50 minutes yet. I think we got 45 for one of them. This one's at... what is it at right now? 35, I think? We're probably not going to use the sea lanterns, by the way. I am just seeing that right now. I don't really think they're going to get used. Anyway, if I missed a section. You should pretty much end up with this. I just have to fill in this little hallway here. And then I'm done. Nice. So, for the Blackstone, two of the sets work the same as in, you know, that set there and this set here. The one with 4 blocks between, though, I want to highlight specifically first. You can... well, actually, universally, you can extend each Blackstone up by 5 to give you rows of 6. And I'm going to just do this with every Blackstone because there's no point in doing them separately because they are the same height. Even if they might work differently, like, I guess, appearance-wise. Nice. These are ones with the 4, again, as I mentioned. You want to place an additional row of white concrete at the bottom. Then place one on the left and right. The bottom row you have remaining should be a little 2-block row where you'll just fill it with upside-down blackstone stairs facing towards the center. And then you should be able to place 3 white concrete on top of each stair to kind of make it full. From each corner of white concrete, top and bottom, you'll count in by 1. And when I say in, I mean from the top you'll count down, and from the bottom you'll count up. And you'll just place a dark oak sign there with nothing on it. It looks like a face when you have just the top one. It still looks like a face. You should have that, though. The other one is a little bit more interesting, I think. It's... both of them, it's these ones with the 3 in between and the other one with 7. You want to start by, on this original row of white concrete, placing a row of black stone stairs facing towards the middle. I'll do one set at a time. Then place 2 rows of white concrete. Then a row of upside down black stone stairs, and then another row of white concrete. On the bottom and top rows of white concrete, you'll just place ladders off of them. I don't really know what these are supposed to be. Like, maybe they're doors, but I'm not really sure. And again, you're doing the same thing with the other ones over here. Which is just stairs, 2 concrete, upside down stairs, 1 concrete, and then these singular rows will have ladders on them. They kind of look like big, like, sliding Maybe a sliding door, some poppy playtime, actually. There's a couple in Chapter 2 that I can think of that I ended up building. Like the one in the section, the hide-and-seek section, the very beginning of that, there's a door like this. That kind of looks similar, at least. It's got the same graded feel. Anyway, you should have this. Every other white concrete, and I guess diorite you'll bring up by 5. I'll do some of this, I think. At least, okay, yeah, no, you can bring them all up by 5, never mind. I thought I was gonna not be able to, but we're good. I'll do some of this, I think, and then I'll probably not do it all, but I might do it all. Either way, this is the last step, so, yeah, if you don't particularly care to hear me ramble, you can, I guess, just, you know, move on to the next part, or wait for the next part, because it's probably not out yet. Unless you're members, in which case, it should probably be out by the time you're finished this one if you're building it live. Maybe? I don't know, I might wait on it. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I don't want to speed upload them too much, but it didn't take long to upload, I noticed. The one yesterday, I legitimately thought the first one that I uploaded yesterday was, like, wrong because it uploaded so quick. I was like, did I make a mistake somewhere? Like, why did it take... It literally took, like, 10 minutes. It was crazy. I'd expect for a 45-minute video for it to take, like, 20 minutes? 25? At least. But it was, like, insanely quick. Pretty much by the time I finished, like, editing, or, yeah, like, getting the title and description and everything right, it was done. Like, it was crazy. But either way. And then, as I have mentioned, after this segment is done, not this part, but this little segment, we're going to end up doing the orange one, and then after the orange one, we'll do secret. It's crazy how little is left. I mean, some of these rooms will be a little bit longer, I think. Well, this next part will honestly probably finish off, like, almost this entire area. I think it'll do everything. Maybe, hopefully it'll finish the Bitter Giggle room. That's such a weird name. That is his name, right? I'm not crazy. The Jester guy? I forget. I played the BanBan games once and then never again, so I don't particularly remember much other than the fact that there's a guy named BanBan and he wants to have our pancreas for some reason. It's like the only bit of information that's stuck in my brain, but yeah. It's honestly more than I was expecting. I was kind of just thinking, like, yeah, I'll get that Cyan path done in this part, but again, I think it is good to have expectations, to do little bits, and then to exceed those expectations usually is a good thing, especially for these longer tutorials, because you kind of expect yourself to take 20 odd parts for this, but I mean, we're on part... what, 5 right now? And we're pretty much halfway through? I think it's... Is it 5 or 6? The main room is 3. So yeah, this is part 5. Anyway. Once you have done that, ladies and gentlemen, that is Garten of BanBan 0 part 5 complete. I did come to that proper conclusion. Thank you all so much if you guys did enjoy this video. Hopefully next part we can get this little area finished. That would be cool. And then we're literally looking at like 10 parts, which is insane. If this takes less than the Act 1 basement and part number, I'm actually going to go insane. Anyway, have a fantastic rest of your day or night, and I will see you on the next one. Okay, it took my... Really? It hasn't done that in a while. One sec. Peace.